Welcome back to this channel. My name is Nikisha Kraft and I'm a family nurse practitioner and a health coach, and today I will share with you some tips that I've been using to help me cope during this COVID-19 pandemic. If you're new to this channel, we talk everything health. I provide you with health information that will hopefully help you to improve your make changes in your life to improve your health, and I also provide preventative health information that will help you reduce your risk of getting chronic diseases. This is also a platform where you can ask health questions and or concerns, and I will try to answer them to the best of my knowledge or link you to resources where you can get the answers. So let's talk about some tips that I've been using to help to cope through this COVID-19 experience. So the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I try to check in with myself. And when I say check in with myself is I try to identify things that might be bothersome or worrisome to me. These are my stressors, and I acknowledge the emotions that it brings to me when I think about these things. And one of the things that, is my main stressor, and probably a stressor for a lot of people, is homeschooling. I have two kids that are currently in school, ages 11 and 6, and I also have a 2-year-old that I try to teach and entertain while I'm trying to homeschool them. And I'm also a working mom. I work per diem, and I still have, mom things to do, like taking care of the home and doing laundry and cooking, and just making sure the health and making sure of the health and well-being of my family. And so there are days when I get really overwhelmed, trying to teach my kids and trying to deal with their mental and their emotional well-being, just trying to be a mom, a wife, and a teacher, all in the same time frame. And so I try to zone in with myself and figure out how am I doing, from the beginning of the day. And it's very important to do that because a lot of people have stressors and they can deal with it two ways. They can internalize it, or they can outwardly express them, and sometimes they might be outwardly expressed in a negative way. So for people who may internalize their stress, this can cause physical changes in your body. You might feel bogged down and fatigued and may sleep a lot during the day, because when you're sleeping you don't actively have to deal with the problem. And for others, they might deal with it by playing video games or exercising more. People have different ways of dealing with it. If you internalize your stress, it can manifest itself in illnesses such as migraine headaches. It can cause you to have irritable bowel syndrome, where you're having to go to the bathroom a lot. It can give you palpitations, where you feel rapid heartbeats. It can make you feel anxious. It can even give you chest discomfort. And if the stressor is really significant, it can even cause health problems like increasing your blood sugars, increasing your blood pressure. It can lead to illnesses such as stroke, and even like Bell palsy, where you have paralysis of the face. Identifying the stressor and owning in on the emotion that the stressor is causing you is very important, because your coping mechanism is directly linked to your mental and your physical well-being. So in the morning, I just try to check in with myself, identify what my stressors are and how I'm feeling. And that is the first step in identifying that, number one, I am stressed, that there are issues in my life, and number two, it allows me to own in on those emotions, and start to think of ways that I can positively deal with those emotions as well. The second thing I do is I think of something positive. I try to think of at least one thing that is positive in my day. And frankly, I have more than one thing, but I find something to be thankful for. because our attitude often predicts the outcome of things in our life. And so if I dwell on the negative aspect of my stressors and my problems that I identify at the beginning of the day, it will create a very depressing, a very lonely, a very isolated experience in my brain, and that's not going to help me to think of solutions. As a matter of fact, when we constantly dwell on the negative, it makes our brain foggy, it creates more fatigue, and we cannot identify solutions to the problems. But when we think or we create a positive attitude around things, it increases the endorphins in our brain, and it gives us a revitalization and energy and motivation to think of solutions and think of the outcomes, a better outcome. And so I think of things to be thankful for, and I note them, I write them down. I also incorporate this with my kids. I let them say what they're thankful for. And sometimes with the restrictions that are brought on COVID and them being homeschooled and not being able to play with their friends or see family members or go to places that they want to go to and do things that they normally do, it's very hard to find things to be thankful for. But I just go back to the basics. I go back to the simple things. I say to them, you have a roof over your head, you have a home, you have a nice warm bed to lay in, you have food on your table, you're able to go to school, you have a computer to use, you got internet to access the computer, you have clothes to wear. I start with the basics. You're around family and friends, you have your mom home and your dad home. As far as we know right now, we have no family member who's sick or being affected with the COVID virus, and we're still alive. And as you start thinking about those things, it just brings a positive attitude to life. It makes you be more appreciative of the simple things that we often take for granted. And so it's important to get the kids involved in this reflection and this positive thinking, because this pandemic is negatively affecting children in a way that sometimes parents might not even understand. And if you have teenagers, even they might not be verbalizing their actual feelings or their thoughts, but they might be angry or upset about some of the changes that are happening as well. And trying to think of things or identifying things that you can be thankful for will help us to have a better outlook, create a better attitude, so that we can increase those endorphins and those thoughts of positive thinking, and that will be a good starting point in trying to figure out solutions of how to fix those problems. The third thing I do is I try to own the changes that are happening, and I try to utilize something that has changed for good. And you don't really have to go far for this. Just think of things that come naturally to you, that you're gifted with or you're good at doing, and try to utilize that change to make a positive impact on your life, on your children's life, or on somebody else's life. Because when we feel purposeful, when we feel useful, it immediately uplifts our spirit and gives us motivation to continue to do that thing, because we know that it's helpful to us and it's helpful to others. As human beings, we thrive and we excel and do better at things when we are being useful and helpful to others. And so I didn't go too far. I'm a healthcare professional, and I thought of ways that I can utilize the information and the medical expertise, the experiences that I have, to utilize those in ways that can be useful to others. And so I've created this platform where I can share this information and people could ask questions, and I can answer it and hopefully have a good impact on their life. I've had several people call me during this pandemic, whether they had COVID virus or other health issues, and ask questions. And frankly, people are scared to go to their doctor's office. Some people have lost their health insurance, and so they are not able to go and see a doctor, and others, are just, so feel so isolated and alone that they might not even have transportation or help to get them to the doctor's office. And so if I could create a platform where people could ask health questions, can get information or get some advice, it makes me feel purposeful and useful. And so don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just think of something that you have always thought of doing, that you're good at doing, that can be useful to help someone, and just do it. If you see a need, then fill the need. If you see the need, chances are you really want to fill it. And there's a lot of good that is coming out of the changes caused by COVID-19. So many people are becoming entrepreneurs and thinking of new business ideas now that they have all this free time to really sit down and think of things that they've always thought of doing, great ideas that they've had on paper, but now they can actually put it down in action. There are people that always wanted to go back to school but thought they didn't have the time, but COVID-19 has opened up a way for them to actually get the time to sit down, fill out that application, and start school. I just heard on the news recently of a mom who started this pandemic pod to help other parents who had to go to work but needed help with their kids, so their kids could come and stay at their home and get tutoring while the parents go to work. And so there are hundreds of people out there that are being resourceful and utilizing this change that the pandemic has caused for positive and for good. And so if you can think of something, that would be awesome, because it will definitely be a morale booster for you. It will motivate you to get up out of bed every day and do something that is causing some light and some good in a time where it just seems like, hope is, the glimmer of hope is very slim, and so many people are hurting and is in need. And as we get into this holiday season, it's very important for us to think of our neighbors or friends or family that may not be as fortunate as us, and just all those families that are suffering from this COVID-19 pandemic, all those homes that have lost loved ones, and those children that will be without parents, or grandparents, or siblings. So if you're struggling with this virus and the changes that it's caused in your life, you're not alone. It took me a while to figure out ways to cope, and what I decided to do was just take baby step each day. And I just try to utilize these skills. I try to check in with myself and identify the stressors I have in my life and the emotions that they bring. I try to be thankful for something, and then I find ways to utilize the changes that are happening to do something good that will be beneficial to me and just other people in general. And so we are more alike than what you may think. So if you see a need, try to find a way to fix it. And I hope that in some way this video has motivated and inspired you to just keep going and to have a positive outlook on life, and has given you some idea of some things that you could change and reinvent in your life. And I just hope that you continue to maintain good mental and physical health. So if you like this video and would like to hear more videos like these, please hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you can be alerted when I post new videos. Until next time, thank you for tuning in, and take care of you, and I will see you